We had breaking news late last night, of a blockbuster trade involving the Carolina Panthers, the San Francisco 49ers, and one Christian McCaffrey heading to San Francisco. The Panthers traded their star running back to the Niners in exchange for a 2023 second rounder, 2023 third, 2023 fourth, and a 2024 fifth in exchange for Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey now heads out west to join a Niners squad that loves their running backs. This might be the best running back the Niners have had in a very, very long time, if not the best running back of all time in Niners history. Aaron, let's just start here. Instant reactions to when this trade broke.
Okay, so everybody knows, and I got some people in the Bay that are probably watching or going to watch this, because there was a lot of chatter on my Facebook last night. Everybody knows I hate the 49ers. I do. I say it with proud, but I'm also a very realistic football analyst. My initial reaction was at work, what in the fuck is going on? I said it out loud. Chaos. In the office. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I'm going to tell you, I like the move more than just getting the talent of CMC. This shows me that the Niners are all in. This shows me that this isn't a long-term play for, Trey Lance to become the starter again and, build that team up. They are in win now mode. They are saying we can win a Super Bowl right now with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback if we go and put the necessary pieces around him. And despite what people continue to say about Christian McCaffrey's, quote, injury prone, I don't get the narrative. I don't get why we all of a sudden call somebody injury prone because they had a couple of injuries in a couple of seasons when they've shown to be dominant and great over the course of their career. Christian McCaffrey is the most versatile running back in the NFL. Yes, I said it. More than Saquon Barkley, more than Alvin Kamara. He is the most versatile back in all of football because he can kill you both in the run game and the pass game. And it's not just outside or when you get the ball in his hands in space. This guy runs between the tackles. It's not like he can't run between the tackles. Just because he has that smaller frame, people think he can't do it, but he actually can. He's one of the most versatile backs we've seen in this game in a very, very long time. We forget he ran and received for 1,000 yards in 2019. He's just 26 years old. It's not like he's some 28, 29-year-old running back that we're worried about falling off a cliff or anything like that. He hasn't really suffered major injuries. I know he's been injured the last couple of seasons, but it's not been a huge, torn Achilles or anything like that. So first of all, he fits Kyle Shanahan's offense to an absolute T. This is what Kyle Shanahan wants. He wants to be able to get guys the ball and be able to watch them make plays. We see it with Deebo Samuel. Look at what Deebo did in college. He was not the player he is now. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but Deebo Samuel was not the player he is now. What did Kyle Shanahan do? He maximized what Deebo Samuel does well. He's done it with George Kittle. He did it with Elijah Mitchell last year. This is the most talented running back the 49ers have ever had, ever. And I'll say it. I'll include guys in there, Roger Craig, all the Frank Gore, whoever you want to throw in there. Christian McCaffrey is the most talented running back that the 49ers have ever had, ever. And he is going to pay dividends. It's a huge addition for the 49ers, huge. And I get it. They still got Jimmy G at quarterback. And for the haters out there that are going to say Jimmy G is still going to cost them games, perhaps. I'm not here to praise Jimmy G, but it makes it a lot easier now when you have Deebo, Kittle, Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey. This was a home run of a trade. I don't care what they gave, very short. In the NFL, your window to win is very, very short. And that window has to be exploited. And the 49ers are in that window right now before guys have to get paid, before guys are towards the back end of their career. You have to go all out, and they did.
And you look at the rest of the NFC as a whole, not even just the NFC West, it's wide open. The Packers are struggling. The Bucks are struggling. The Rams are struggling. All the big dog teams in the NFC are struggling now, and it's wide open. So why not go out and make a move to make your team better? And I think also something that it factors in here is we talk about all the time how Kyle Shanahan's offense loves that running back by committee. It's Elijah Mitchell 1 year. It's just Jeff Wilson another year. You throw in a JaMychal Hasty, you throw in all the other running backs they add in. And obviously, you're not bringing in CMC to have a running back by committee, but the usage of CMC will be, I feel like, used smartly because of the way Kyle Shanahan has used his running backs in the past, to where CMC doesn't have to do it all.
Yes,
he's not going to be. Well, he's not going to be.
That's a false
be,
narrative. It's not a running back by committee in San Francisco. It never has been. The running back by committee means you're splitting carries throughout a game. Kyle Shanahan is not really a split carries throughout a game kind of coach. The problem was they've never had a back to go to that many times. You look at Elijah Mitchell last year. He was the guy. The year before that, Raheem Mostert was the guy. It wasn't like it was a running back by committee. It's just that every year it's been a different guy. It's not that he gives 15 or 10 to Jeff Wilson, 10 to Jermichael Hasty, 10 to Elijah Mitchell. It's no, they get 20 plus carries while they're the guy, and then they get hurt. Christian McCaffrey is still going to touch the ball a lot. I've heard this, and like one of my buddies was like, "Oh, there goes his fantasy value because he's going to split carries," and I'm like, well, no, that's his fantasy value grows, right? You're talking about a guy that's in a more efficient offense with a better offensive line, with more weapons around him. So he may not have to touch the ball 30 times to produce 120 yards of offense. You might see him only touch the ball 20 times and still be more efficient in 130 yards total offense. So his touches may decrease a little bit because there's other weapons, but his efficiency goes up. And therefore, you do get to spare him, but it's not sparing him at the expense of taking him off the field or allowing other guys to run the ball. It's sparing him as to say, okay, we have guys on the outside like Debo and George Kittle that can also touch the ball, and Christian McCaffrey don't have to touch the ball 30 times. Shanahan is the perfect fit for this guy. There's no other coach. I honestly can, and maybe like an Andy Reid or somebody like that, but they even like to spread the ball around a little too much for me. I don't know that there's another coach that fits more perfectly, in my opinion, for Christian McCaffrey than Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. And this does wonders for them moving forward in the odds category. It's funny because they have Deebo Samuel, and I feel like Christian McCaffrey is the running back version of Deebo Samuel, where it's like they both do both jobs very well. They're both used heavily in both pass catching and the running game. This just does wonders for the 49ers moving forward. Now, I'm not going to bash the 49ers. We're not going to do what we normally do and talk about what this does for their Super Bowl chances, because at the end of the day, we've talked about it before. It's tough to win this league without a quarterback, and it's not to completely bash Jimmy G, but it's tough. But getting the best running back in the NFL definitely helps those odds and gives you a shot to compete with the best offenses in the NFL.
I'm going to say it. The 49ers are the favorite in the NFC.
Yep.
The 49ers are the favorite to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, in my opinion. I don't look at a team and see a better team. And again, I know there's injury concerns, and I know they're not healthy right now, but they will get healthy. And some of these players are coming back in the next couple of weeks. I believe that the 49ers are the best team in the NFC right now. I think they have the best chance to get to the Super Bowl. With that defense, they average the least amount of yards per play. When you get guys back like Charvarius Ward on that back end, he should be back again this week. I know he left early last week. Some safeties come back. You get offensive line help back. Nick Bosa will eventually be back. I don't look at a team in the NFC, and you said it's wide open. I actually think it's not wide open. I think there's very few teams in the NFC that could actually get to a Super Bowl right now and have a chance to win it. I think it's maybe 3 or 4, and I think the 49ers are at the top of that list. This is a physical football team that's added a dynamic piece, and you don't need Jimmy G to go out and be crazy. You just need him not to screw it up. And that's really at this point. I've said this before. There are sometimes anomalies. There are sometimes teams can go out and win a Super Bowl with a quarterback that's not a franchise guy if everything is perfect around them. If the Niners stay healthy, everything will be perfect around Jimmy G. They have now got a dependable guy that they can check down to that Jimmy G would love. And then you have the weapons of those other guys on the outside. If everything goes healthy, stays healthy, I think the San Francisco 49ers will be in the Super Bowl in February. And, that hurts. It's saying a lot if I say that, I promise you. Niner fans in California know I do not like to say that, but I am very realistic. I think that he's that much of a game changer. I think he's that much of a difference maker for a team that's really close already.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not just him being the game changer himself in the talent level. It's also the system that he comes into that's a perfect fit. Briefly talking about the Panthers side of this deal, they get a lot of picks to help their future out. Let's just address this and then move on to the rest of our show because we've got a lot to talk about. We've got 9 games to preview today. They get a second, a third, a fourth in next year's draft, and a fifth in the following year's draft. There were some that were thinking, okay, maybe they can get a first round pick for the talent level of what Christian McCaffrey is. And that may not be the right narrative to follow because he is a running back. He is a very highly paid running back. What's your thoughts on what the Panthers got in return in this deal?
I think they got what they could get. There's nobody that's giving a first round draft pick for a rookie or for a running back. It's simple as that. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter which running back it was. You're not going to give a first round pick for it. So yes, you go out and you get a bunch of picks, and this is look. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of trading my best players for draft picks. I get that they want a fresh start in a rebuild, but the rebuild can't come at the expense of getting rid of your best players. And then they say on the other end, there's reports saying that DJ Moore is not going to be on the block, that he's a foundational piece to what they're trying to do. I'm like, if Christian McCaffrey is not your foundational piece, then everybody should be available, maybe except for Brian Burns and JC Horn. So that's how my mindset is. I'm trading everybody except for Brian Burns and JC Horn, and then I'm rebuilding that way. But Carolina got picks, and they got probably the amount of picks you could get. But again, they got to hit on these draft picks. They got to be better in building that roster. So I would say right now, if you look at the Carolina Panthers and you're a fan and you're just looking for that glimmer of hope, there's 3 things you can hang your hat on: Ike Ekwonu, Brian Burns, and JC Horn. And if they keep those 3 guys, you have some foundational pieces at key spots. Your offensive lineman anchor, your defensive line anchor, Brian Burns and pass rush, and then a lockdown corner going forward in the future. Everybody else should be available, and then you got to start looking for ways to find your franchise quarterback and build around that. And I think if you look at it at that angle, then you can say, okay, we have something positive going. Let's go find a coach. But if you're just like, man, it looks like a fire sale, it kind of is. It kind of is. So you got to hope that these draft picks hit over the next couple of years, and they have a lot of them.
Yeah, loaded up for the future for the Carolina Panthers. Got to hit though. Got to hit for it to matter. So that's our little breaking news. Christian McCaffrey is now a San Francisco 49er. They play the Chiefs this week. Obviously, McCaffrey most likely will not be playing.
He's going to play.
Is he going to play?
He's going to play.
Ooh, man, that's
they'll put it. They said they'll put they'll put a few packages in for him. Every report that I've read is that they've talked before and that he expects to play on some level. Don't expect a full complement of snaps, but I don't care. I'm putting him in my fantasy lineup anyways.
Oh, no doubt. Well, first of all, you can't bench Christian. If Christian McCaffrey's playing, he's playing in your lineup. There's never a doubt if he's ever in your lineup if he's playing. But yeah,
if there's 49ers, one position though, if there's one position that you can just say, hey, run right, run left, like you don't need a whole lot of scheme at the running back position. You can tell him where he's going and run him on and off the field. I think there'll be a number of plays he can get in on.
Yeah, and he'll be fine. They have the Chiefs this week, though, on Sunday. Then they have the Rams, and then a bye week to get Christian McCaffrey really, really rolling with this system. And then it's full go, balls to the walls, week 10 on into their playoff run and possibly a Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers.